Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Arc Reaction. This week we're talking about the second story arc of Southern Bastards, titled Gridiron, from Jason Aaron and Jason Latour. So stick around, won't you? So, if you read the first story arc of Southern Bastards, which I assume you did because you're a good, upstanding human being, you know that the adventures of Earl Tubb came to an interesting end at the hands of Eustace Boss, Coach Boss, the evil Coach Boss that runs the town. Well, this story arc is all about Coach Boss. So let's go back in time with the story to the story of Coach Boss as a kid, where he's not a coach. He's just a little puny kid that wants to play football because he lives in the South like everybody does in the county, and he wants to be on the running rebs, but he's terrible at it, and everybody tells him he should just die because his dad's dumb, and he's dumb. Pretty much everybody hates his dad in town, so they say, get out of here, you're bad at football, we don't like your dad, that's it. And small town situation. This doesn't really add up. How is he going to end up the weird warlord we see in the first story arc, where he runs a rib joint, which makes him the most evil guy in town, I suppose, if I'm paying attention to House of Cards. Ribs and barbecue are associated with evil consolidations of power, I guess, in the South. That and football. So, we get there in the form of Big, who is a blind man who decides to train Eustace on the side and has him tackle trees and practice hard until he's better at football. And that sort of works out, but the story gets a bit darker because, oh, he gets to play football, that's great. Well, his dad's a jerk, you gotta learn. And as a result, Eustace gets shot in the foot and doesn't really get to play football for most of his high school career, from what I understand of this. Not that I understand football. But he doesn't get to play a lot of football. When he does, he plays real good football, but it doesn't matter because everybody hates his dad. That's sort of the short version of that. And Eustace is not happy about that because he loves football and he does not want that to be the end of his football career. And that's where we see it go back into the guy we know and the dark route. And that's the fun of this book, especially with the second story arc that's building off the death of a character I think we all love with Earl, and I'm sorry if I spoiled the first arc for you, but you should have read that already. And now we're seeing where the character that killed him came from and where all that tension is building up from with Eustace Boss. And I think the great thing in the story arc is that you start to second guess yourself. Like, yeah, maybe Earl, he did sort of leave the town. Maybe he had it coming to think he could just come back into town and fix everything. Clearly, Coach Boss had been fixing everything in his own weird way. And one of the other big themes of this story is about how it's not really these individuals, but the entire group, this entire county that is really at fault here, because it's not just that Coach Boss is evil. It's that everybody lets him be evil and doesn't do anything to stop him. And that's why we liked Earl, because he left the town and he came back and he wasn't corruptible like them. But it didn't work out great. So the way that this character goes from being a very sympathetic character through the story arc, seeing his history with his dad who is terrible and seeing how you want him to sort of succeed, but then seeing where he goes with that success is just, it's really entrancing and wonderful. And I have to say, I'm not a big fan of the South. I lived there for a short while and didn't like it, left very quickly, and I associate it with Earl in the sense that, yeah, don't stay there, it's not a great place. But this is a really fun book from Aaron and Latour, because they're doing the very romanticized, sort of southern mythological thing, and it's it's a good take on it, and it makes you almost not want to go there, but appreciate the weirdness that is Southern culture. Yeah, if you want to know more and want to hear a more spoilery version of this and more in-depth thoughts, you should check out my article, which we'll link. Go to comicimpact.com, it will be there. Otherwise, you should subscribe to this channel here, right there, or up there. Just hit a button somewhere and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and tell us why you like Southern Bastards or don't like Southern Bastards, or why I'm wrong, or why football's great, or why it's dumb. Who knows? Whatever your thoughts are, just share them, please. I'm bored. And we'll see you all next week.